I can talk a little bit about how to do that later. But for nonfiction books, so say, for example, you're writing a book about museums. There was a TikTok that I created. It was like a funny, like POV. Like, and I set it to a trending sound, and it was me sitting at a vintage typewriter that I have and saying, POV, you're a writer writing about New York City socialites in the 1930s, right? It went viral. It is my most viral video ever. It's not even related to my book. It's related to a fiction book that I have the idea for, but people loved it. Fiction. What if you're writing a book about New York socialites in the 1930s? That could be a nonfiction book, but it's a POV, right? People will grab into that, right? Say you're doing a nonfiction book about space exploration. POV. You're a writer writing about the next biggest expedition to Mars, whatever, right? People are going to grab onto that because suddenly you're involving them through the simple POV. Like, put yourself in my shoes. You're a writer about to do this, or you're a reader reading about this. People are going to grab onto it and hopefully find your book if you link it in your bio.
Yeah, engaging the reader, the reader, the viewer with either POV or saying the word "you," like bringing them and making it feel personal is going to have your video is going to do better.
Yeah, like POV, you're about to do this, or POV, like you love space, whatever, right? So pick up this book or something, you know, have fun with it, experiment. Again, if you are writing a nonfiction book, see what other nonfiction writers are doing in that space. See what they're doing, steal like an artist, and make it your own.
Steal like an artist. We love to hear that.
I don't do exactly the same thing though. Like,
yeah, because that's
just not cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't want to do
unless
that.
you do an IB. Like there's an IB where people, which means inspiration, and you'll tag the original creator. Like I've had people do that where they take like the same exact content from my video and they'll just say inspiration Aparna Verma, right? And I'll just see that. I was like, oh, this is really cool. And I'll comment and like it. And it's just really nice.
Oh, that's so wholesome.
Yeah.
I do have a quick follow-up question because I'm just gushing. So my question is, you mentioned earlier that in that research phase, would you say that as you've discovered trends and started to curate your own content, do you find that your content tends to be, how do you strike that balance between the content being about your book and about who you are as an author? Because even though your audience is primarily readers, do you talk about what, oh, a cat?
I've always said people in like video chats, like, did a ghost open your door? It's like, no, it's my cat. She just came inside the room.
Oh, yeah, that's so wholesome. I mean, like, to that end, like, do you find that you are making TikToks more as an author or more about the content of your book, A Boil with Fire, and then your broader trilogy?
So, great question. I started off talking about my book because as an author, that's what defines me, right? It's the book, the first ever book that you put out there is going to define you as a writer, for better or for worse, you know, because writers always adapt. We always get better with each book. Hopefully we should. And so for me, my identity was around this book. And so I like relentlessly created content about all the tropes in it, some of the different scenes in the book. Once I got character art of the book, I started posting character art. People went batshit crazy about it. And so after I started to know that I hooked my readers, I knew they were there. I knew like I had a thriving community. I started to talk a little bit more about me, like my personal journey. One of the first few TikToks that went viral was about me. And it was like one of those trends of like how that everyone related to, and it was about the pandemic and how people lost jobs in the pandemic. I lost my job in the pandemic. And it was that trend. It's like I don't know what to do. Like it was like that. It's a Disney voiceover or something. It's like maybe it's the start of something new. And then and it was just me. It's like me feeling dejected, like losing my job, like, the pandemic. I don't know what to do. Like what's next? And then it says like, everything's going to be better or whatever. It's like time to start something new. And then I held up my book. It's like my book is coming out in a few. And people love to see that. They love to see you overcome obstacles because it's like your rags to riches Cinderella kind of story. People eat that shit up. They love it. I love it. And so I just, once I started seeing that, I posted similar videos about it, and that was one of those videos that went viral because of it. And it was just very true to who I am. I think, especially I think as a BIPOC creator, it's, especially in my community, it's kind of touchy. It's saying if you lost your job or whatever, it's say you left your job instead of lost it. It's no, I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be real because I know other people have also faced this. And so I think because of that, people really, really connected. And they love to see people triumph over evil or over obstacles. So if you can, paint that narrative, then, good on you.
That's really, really insightful. Thank you. Because navigating that balance, not just when it comes to TikTok, but just for content creation in general, can be precarious.
I will say, people love, other marketing creators. I'm a marketing manager at the startup that I now work at. And marketing specialists will always say people love to hear about your story, about you. I personally believe before you can even start talking about you, you have to make people understand why they should even listen, right? A book is a really strong reason why people should listen because you spent years, months writing this, right? Not everyone can write a book. Not everyone can publish a book. And you're one of the few people who can. So make an effort to showcase that. And once you put your foot in the door and say, I'm a capable human being because I wrote this book and this book is about X, Y, and Z, people will start to listen and say, okay, she has some credibility. And that's when they'll start to pay attention to your story.